The evening sun was setting behind the tall glass walls of Orion Human Spaceport, and the whole place was filled with loud speakers, moving lights, and busy travelers running toward their ships. Humans, robots, and many alien species walked side by side, each minding their own business. But in the middle of this busy world, Evan Hawley, a simple human engineer, stood quietly with a small travel bag beside him. He had just finished an 11-month project on a mining station and wanted only one thing now: peace. He waited for his shuttle, hoping to sleep for the next 12 hours. But something felt strange in the air. He could not explain it, yet his heart kept telling him he was being watched. At first, he ignored it. People stared all the time in big stations, especially at humans, because humans had a reputation for being deathworlders, strong and dangerous. But the feeling did not stop. It grew stronger. He slowly turned his head, and that was when he saw her. She stood at the far end of the hall, under a soft white light, like she had stepped out of a dream. A tall alien girl, maybe 19 or 20, with glowing silver hair falling over her shoulders. Her skin had a soft blue tone that shimmered like moonlight, and her eyes, large, bright, and strangely warm, were locked directly on him. Evan froze. He had never seen her before. He was sure he would have remembered a face like hers. She was young, beautiful, elegant, but her expression was intense, deep sadness mixed with confidence, like she had carried heavy shadows for a long time. She did not blink. She did not look away. She watched him like she knew him better than he knew himself. Evan looked behind him, thinking maybe she was staring at someone else. But there was no one there. The girl took a slow step forward, then another. Every step she took felt heavy, as if the entire station shifted around her. Even travelers walking by seemed to feel her presence because they moved aside. Without realizing, Evan's heartbeat grew faster. Who is she? Why is she looking at me like that? What does she want? Before he could take a step back, she reached him. She stood close, too close, almost at arm's length. She looked up into his eyes with a strange mixture of hope and pain. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was soft but carried a deep emotion that made the air feel heavy. Do you know who I am, human? Evan shook his head. No. I don't think so. The girl stared at him more intensely, like she was searching his soul. For a moment, Evan felt like time had stopped. The entire noise of the spaceport disappeared. There was only her glowing eyes, and the strange tension between them. Then she said something that made Evan's blood run cold. I'm the girl you used to give candy to. Many years ago. Evan felt like the ground under him cracked open. Candy? Memories hit him like a wave. He remembered the war zone, the refugee camp, the destroyed buildings, and the children who hid in the ruins. He remembered a tiny alien child, small, thin, always afraid. A child who never spoke but followed him silently during patrols. He remembered giving her candy every day just to see her smile. But that child was small, scared, fragile. This girl was tall, powerful, beautiful, and confident, nothing like the weak child from the past. How is that possible? Evan whispered. The girl did not answer. Instead, she looked around. Several armed guards, standing at the other side of the hall, were staring at them. Not at Evan, at her. Their eyes showed fear, respect, and confusion. The girl lifted her hand just a little. The guards instantly stepped back. Evan inhaled sharply. Who is she? What is she? Something was very wrong. This alien girl was not normal. She had power, authority, and dangerous presence around her. He could feel it in the air. Like electricity before a storm. She leaned closer and whispered, I came a long way to find you, Evan. Evan's heart pounded. Why me? Her eyes softened, and for a moment, he saw the small, lonely child she once was. But then her eyes hardened again, as if she remembered something dark. Because, she said quietly, Your kindness changed my life. And now, it may save your own." Before Evan could speak, alarms suddenly blared across the spaceport. Lights flashed red. People screamed and ran. Security officers shouted orders. The girl grabbed Evan's wrist tightly. "Come with me," she said. "They found me." Evan had no idea who they were, but he knew one thing. His simple life was over, and whatever was coming next was far more dangerous than he ever imagined. Evan's heart raced as the alarms continued to echo through the huge spaceport. Red lights flashed across the walls, and people ran in every direction. The soft hum of normal life had exploded into full panic. But the alien girl Astra held Evan's wrist tightly and pulled him through the crowd with surprising strength. He wanted to ask questions. He wanted to understand. But right now, survival was more important. Astra guided him through a side door that looked like a simple maintenance panel. The moment she touched it, the door slid open as if it recognized her. She pushed Evan inside first and then stepped in after him. The door shut behind them, cutting off the noise of the chaos outside. The room they entered was small, quiet, and dim. Blue lights glowed softly on the walls. It looked like an old storage chamber, not used for many years. Dust floated in the air, untouched and peaceful, too peaceful compared to the madness outside. Evan leaned against the wall, trying to catch his breath. "What is happening? Who is chasing you?" Astra did not answer right away. She looked at him with a calm expression, but her eyes were full of storms. She was thinking, deciding how much to tell him. Finally she spoke. "My name is Astra. You knew me before, but you did not know my name then." Evan tried to match the name with the small child he remembered, but the difference was too great. The little girl he once protected had big, fearful eyes, small hands, and a fragile body. Astra now stood tall and strong, with long silver hair and glowing skin. She looked like a completely different person. "I remember a little girl," Evan said slowly. "A tiny one. She never talked. She was always hiding behind rocks and broken walls." Astra closed her eyes, as if remembering painful memories she had buried for years. "That was me," she said softly. "I was small, scared, and hungry. My planet was burning, and my family was gone. I had no one. But then you came." She stepped a little closer, her voice trembling, not with fear, but with emotion. "You were a soldier. A young one. You looked dangerous to everyone else, but to me, you were the only safe thing in that place." Evan felt a strange heaviness in his chest. He had helped many kids during that mission. But there was one small alien girl he remembered more clearly, the one who never spoke but always watched him with wide, innocent eyes. "It was you," he whispered. Astra gave a tiny nod. "Yes, and one day you gave me candy. A small red candy in a little wrapper." Evan remembered it. He remembered offering a piece of candy to the small girl because she looked like she had forgotten how to smile. She had taken it with shaking hands. When she tasted it, her face lit up for the first time. "That candy," Astra said softly, "was the first sweet thing I ever tasted. It was the first moment I felt hope. I kept coming back to you because you made me feel safe." Evan looked down, overwhelmed. He had done something so simple, so small, and yet it had changed someone's life so deeply. "But Astra," he said slowly, "what does any of that have to do with now? Why did you come to find me? And why are people chasing you?" Astra looked away. When she spoke again, her voice was lower, heavier. "After the war ended, I was taken in by a powerful house. A royal house. They raised me, trained me, and prepared me for a life I did not choose." Evan stared at her, confused. "What life?" Astra lifted her chin. "The life of a leader. A ruler. I am the future heir of a noble line. And not everyone wants me to take that place." The truth hit Evan like a shock. Your royalty? In a way, she said. But before they brought me into their world, I made myself a promise. I promised I would find the human who saved me from the ruins. The human who showed me kindness when I had nothing. You. Evan swallowed hard, unsure what to say. So you searched for me? For years, she answered. But now that I found you, I don't know if it was the right time. My enemies have discovered my location. They want to capture me before my coronation. And because you were standing with me, they think you are important too. Evan's stomach twisted. So I'm in danger because of you? Astra stepped closer, her voice soft but full of guilt. Yes, and that is why I must protect you now. The room suddenly shook as something exploded outside. Dust rained from the ceiling. Astra's eyes widened. They're getting closer, she whispered. We must leave now. She grabbed his hand again. This time, Evan didn't resist, because now he understood. The girl he gave candy to had returned as someone powerful, and he had just stepped into a storm he never saw coming. The storage room trembled again as another explosion echoed through the metal walls. Evan felt the vibrations in his chest. Whoever was searching for Astra was not afraid of causing damage, not even inside a crowded spaceport. Astra placed one hand on the wall panel, and a soft blue light scanned her palm. A hidden door slid open in front of them, revealing a narrow corridor filled with dim white lights. This way, she said quickly, pulling Evan inside before the door closed behind them. The corridor was quiet and strangely empty. It stretched long, like a secret tunnel intended for only a few people. The air was cooler here, cleaner, as if meant for important travelers. Astra walked in front, her long silver hair swaying with every step. Evan followed, trying to stay calm, but his mind was full of questions. Finally he spoke. Astra, you said you're the heir of a noble house. What does that mean? Why would people chase you like this? Astra did not stop walking, but her voice lowered. There is something you humans call royalty. We have something similar, but far more complicated. My house rules over many planets, many species. They do not choose their leaders by blood alone. They choose them by power, by history, by destiny. Evan blinked. And they chose you? Astra slowed her steps. For a moment, she looked unsure, like she was stepping back into her painful past. They found me when I had nothing. I was alone, weak, and silent, but they saw potential. They trained me, taught me, rebuilt my life. I owe them much. She stopped walking and turned around to face him. But even now, many do not accept me. I was born outside the noble lines. I am not one of their pure-blood heirs. Some believe I have no right to the throne. Evan felt a cold chill. So they want to stop you? Astra nodded slowly. Yes, they want to replace me with someone they can control. Someone who will follow their orders. But I will not be that person. Before Evan could respond, the corridor lights flickered. Then a loud metallic sound echoed through the tunnel. Astra grabbed his arm. They have found this path. We must hurry. They ran through the corridor until Astra stopped near a large armored door. She pressed her hand on the panel again. But this time, the door did not open. Instead, red letters flashed on the screen. Access blocked, security override. ACV. Astra's eyes widened. They have taken control of the system already. Evan's heart dropped. What do we do now? Before Astra could answer, footsteps echoed behind them. Heavy boots, many of them. Moving fast. Astra spun around and pushed Evan behind her. Stay close. The footsteps grew louder until a group of armored alien soldiers turned the corner. Their armor was black with sharp red markings. Their helmets glowed with faint energy lines. But the strangest thing happened. They did not raise their weapons. Instead, the front soldier dropped to one knee. Then the others followed. They knelt. Not to Evan. To Astra. The leader lifted his head slightly. My lady Astra. We were ordered to escort you back. Evan blinked in shock. They were not enemies? But Astra's face hardened. Your orders are not my concern. I make my own decisions. The leader bowed his head deeper. We do not wish to harm you, my lady, but you must return. Your coronation must happen. The council insists. Astra looked angry now, the calm mask cracking. The council wants to control me. They want a puppet, not a leader. The leader did not move. We only follow command. Our duty is to bring you home safely. Astra stepped forward, her voice sharper. And if I refuse? The air went cold. The leader finally stood, raising his weapon not toward Astra, but toward Evan. Then we take him instead, he said quietly. You will follow if he is in danger. Evan felt the world turn upside down. He didn't even know these people, yet they were using him like bait. Astra's eyes turned fierce, glowing slightly. You dare threaten him? The leader hesitated. Fear flickered in his eyes. My lady, this is the only way. Astra raised her hand. Energy pulsed from her palm, glowing bright blue. The soldiers tensed, stepping back instinctively. Evan realized one thing clearly. Astra was powerful. Far more powerful than she had shown before. She spoke in a calm, cold voice. I will not let you touch him. Before the soldiers could respond, the entire corridor shook again. A violent explosion thundered from the far end, and smoke rolled toward them. Someone else, someone far more dangerous was coming. Astra grabbed Evan's hand. We have no time. Those soldiers are not the real threat. The true enemy is close. Evan swallowed hard. The true enemy? Astra nodded, her voice low and urgent. The ones who want me dead. The explosion at the far end of the hidden corridor shook the walls so hard that dust rained down in thick clouds. A sharp alarm blared overhead. The kneeling soldiers jumped to their feet instantly, their weapons rising as the smoke rolled toward them like a dark wave. Astra grabbed Ivan's wrist again, her voice sharp and urgent. We have to move now. Evan barely had time to breathe before Astra pulled him toward another side panel on the wall. It looked like nothing, just a metal square. But when Astra pressed her palm against it, the panel scanned her hand. For a moment nothing happened, then a low hum. A soft glow. A hidden door slid open silently. Inside, Astra whispered. Evan rushed in, and Astra followed, sealing the door behind them right as the smoke in the corridor turned into fire. Through the small viewing window, Evan saw dark, armored figures emerging from the blaze. They walked with calm steps, too calm for the chaos around them. Their armor was matte black, built thick like heavy stone. No glowing colors. No symbols. No honor marks. These were not royal guards. These were not soldiers. They were hunters. Astra's hands curled into fists. They found me faster than I expected. Evan stared at her. Who are they? Why do they want you so badly? Astra's face hardened into something cold and sharp like a warrior who had seen too much. They are from a rival faction. They do not want me alive. If I take the throne, I will end their corruption. They know that. Evan felt his heart drop. They're here to kill you? To kill me, yes, Astra said quietly. But they will kill you too. Because you are with me. Before Evan could speak, the room they stood in lit up with blue lights. The narrow chamber was smooth and silent, with only one path forward, a long, downward passage that glowed with faint energy lines. Astra pushed forward. This tunnel leads to an old maintenance bay. It connects to the lower docks. If we can reach my ship, we can escape. They walked fast, almost running, but halfway through the tunnel, the lights flickered, then died. Darkness swallowed the corridor. Evan stopped breathing. Astra? She reached out and grabbed his arm firmly. Her touch was warm, steady. I'm here. A second later, the lights returned, but not the same lights as before. These glowed red, warning red. Emergency red. A deep electronic voice echoed through the tunnel. Unauthorized presence detected. Tracking activated. Evan's stomach twisted. They shut the system down? Worse, Astra said quietly. They took control. Footsteps approached. Heavy metal footsteps, echoing in perfect rhythm. One after another. Coming closer. Evan turned around. A dark shape appeared at the far end of the tunnel. Then another. And another. 3 hunters. They moved silently except for the clanking of their heavy boots. Their helmets had no visors, just smooth black masks hiding their faces completely. No emotions, no hesitation. No mercy. Astra stepped in front of Evan. Stay behind me. The hunters did not speak. They simply raised their weapons, long, sharp energy blades that glowed faintly like cold stars. Astra lifted her hands slowly. Bright blue energy crackled between her fingers, but Evan saw something in her eyes: fear. Not for herself, but for him. These tunnels are too narrow, she whispered. It's harder to fight with you at my back. Evan tried to stay calm. What do you want me to do? Astra didn't answer with words. She moved fast. She grabbed Evan from the shoulder, pushed him toward a side alcove, and stepped out into the open tunnel with glowing hands. Her energy lit the walls around them with beautiful, dangerous blue light. The hunters charged. The first hunter swung his blade, but Astra blocked it with a flash of energy that sparked like lightning. The second charged from the left. Astra twisted, ducked, and kicked, sending him slamming into the tunnel wall. But the third hunter slipped past her defense, heading straight toward Evan. Evan froze as the masked figure raised his blade. Astra! Astra heard his voice, and something inside her exploded. She turned sharply, a burst of bright energy blasting from her palm. The force hit the hunter so hard he flew backward and crashed into the wall, sparks flying from his armor. But the blast drained her. Astra staggered, her legs shaking. Evan rushed to her side and caught her before she fell. Astra! Are you okay? Her breathing was heavy. I'm fine. But we must keep moving. 2 hunters were still getting up. A third was advancing again. Astra pointed down the tunnel. There's a drop shaft ahead. If we reach it, we can cut them off. Evan helped her to her feet. Let's go. They ran together, Astra leaning slightly on him, her energy dimming. The hunters followed, metal footsteps echoing like death itself. Evan didn't look back. He didn't need to. He felt them getting closer. At the end of the tunnel, a round metal hatch appeared. Astra hit it with her palmet, opened instantly. Below them was a long vertical drop shaft filled with bright blue anti-gravity lights. Astra turned to Evan. We jump. Evan stared at her. Are you serious? She nodded. They will reach us in seconds. This is the only way. Behind them, the hunter's footsteps grew louder. Astra grabbed Evan's hand tightly. Trust me. And together, they jumped. The moment Astra and Evan jumped into the glowing shaft, Evan felt weight leave his body. His stomach rose into his throat, and the light around them stretched into long blue lines. They didn't fall fast. Instead, they floated downward slowly, like feathers moving through a bright, endless tunnel. Evan looked down, his heart pounding. Is this safe? Astra held his hand tightly. Yes, it's an old anti-gravity system. It will carry us down safely. Her voice sounded calm, but Evan could hear the exhaustion beneath it. She had used too much energy in the fight above. Her breathing was uneven, and her shoulders trembled slightly. They drifted lower and lower until the shaft widened into a large underground chamber. The air smelled like old metal and engine oil. Lights flickered across huge platforms, machines, and unused transport rails. It looked like a forgotten part of the spaceport, dirty, dusty, and quiet. They landed gently on the metal floor. Astra released his hand and tried to stand straight, but her legs shook. Evan grabbed her shoulders. You're hurt. She shook her head. No, just tired. Using power like that drains me. Evan frowned. I didn't know you could fight like that. You look so peaceful on the outside. Astra gave a tired smile. I was raised to fight, to protect myself, to lead. But violence was never my wish. Before Evan could respond, a distant metallic crash echoed through the chamber. The hunters had found the shaft. Astra's expression hardened again. They're coming. Evan quickly looked around. Where do we go next? Astra pointed across the giant underground hall. My old ship is on the far side. If it still works, we can escape. They began to move, staying low behind crates and old machines. The chamber was cold, filled with long shadows. The air hummed with broken lights and flickering cables. Every sound felt too loud, too sharp. Evan kept glancing at Astra. Her steps were getting slower. You're not okay. You're losing strength. Astra looked away. Using my energy at full power drains my body. I cannot do it again. Not for a while. Evan stopped walking. What happens if you try? Astra did not answer at first. Her eyes lowered, her voice quiet and honest. I could lose control. Or collapse. Or worse. Evan's stomach twisted. So, what do we do when the hunters catch up? Astra looked at him then, her expression strong despite her exhaustion. We keep moving. I'm not letting them harm you. Evan opened his mouth to protest, but before he could speak, boom. The metal wall behind them exploded, sending dust and fire across the floor. 3 hunters walked through the hole. Their armor glowed faintly from the heat of the blast. They did not run. They did not shout. They simply marched forward in cold silence. Astra grabbed Evan's hand and pulled him behind a massive engine block. We must reach the ship. What if they corner us? Astra didn't hesitate. Then I fight. Even if it destroys me. Evan felt a sharp pain in his chest. Why? Why risk your life like that? For me? Astra paused. Her glowing eyes softened. Because when I was small, I had nothing. But you gave me kindness without asking anything back. You protected me when you did not need to. That small act shaped my whole life. Evan couldn't speak. Astra continued, her voice trembling. And now it is my turn. I will protect you. No matter the cost. Footsteps thundered behind them. The hunters were close now. Astra stood up slowly, lifting her hands. Blue sparks flickered around her fingers, weak but growing. Astra, stop. You said using your power again. I know, she whispered, but I cannot let them take you. The hunters appeared from the shadows. Their blades glowed with cold silver light. They spread out, forming a half circle around Astra, and Evan. Evan stepped in front of Astra without thinking. No, you're too weak. They'll kill you. Astra pulled him back behind her. No, Evan, they want me. Not you. The hunters took a step forward. Astra's eyes glowed brighter, blue light swirling around her fists. Her whole body trembled from the strain. But she forced herself to stand tall. The first hunter charged. Astra raised her, hand energy bursting outward. A shockwave of blue light exploded across the chamber. Metal crates flew. The floor cracked. 3 hunters staggered back, but as the light faded, Astra dropped to one knee. Her breath came in sharp gasps. Her hands shook violently. Evan ran to her side. You overdid it. You said, I know, she whispered. But it slowed them. The hunters recovered. Their steps grew louder again. Astra pushed herself to stand, using Evan's arm for balance. We must reach the ship. She pointed to a large, dusty vessel at the far end of the chamber. The hunters were running now. Astra and Evan sprinted forward with all their strength. Behind them, the hunters roared as they gave chase. Ahead of them, the ship lights flickered alive, as if waiting for Astra's return. Astra and Evan ran across the huge underground chamber, their footsteps echoing across metal platforms and dusty rails. The old ship at the far end flickered with faint blue lights, coming to life as if recognizing Astra's presence. But the hunters behind them were too fast. Evan glanced back and felt his heart freeze. They're gaining on us. Astra didn't look back. She pushed forward, forcing strength into her shaking legs. If we reach the ramp, the ship's shields will protect us. Keep running. The hunters' blades glowed brighter, casting long shadows on the floor. Their emotionless steps sounded like metal death approaching. Astra stumbled for a moment, almost falling. Evan caught her before she hit the ground. Astra, you can't push yourself like this. She shook her head. I must. If they catch us, everything ends. You must be safe. Her voice cracked slightly at the last word. They reached the base of the ship. The ramp creaked as it extended downward. Blue lights formed a glowing path toward the open hatch. Get inside. Astra ordered. Evan pushed her gently upward, helping her climb the ramp. Her legs trembled badly now. She was running only on pure will. But before they could reach the top, a loud metallic shriek cut through the air. One of the hunters leaped forward, landing at the bottom of the ramp with a heavy crash. His blade sparked against the floor, sending bright flashes upward. Evan stepped back in fear. Astra, what do we do? Astra pulled herself upright, standing between Evan and the hunter. Her breathing was rough, but her eyes burned with fierce determination. I fight. The hunter charged. Astra pushed her hands forward, releasing a burst of blue energy. But this blast was weak now, barely strong enough to slow the hunter. The energy splashed against his armor like water hitting stone. He kept coming. Evan grabbed a loose metal bar from the ramp and swung it with all his strength. It hit the hunter's armor with a loud clang but barely made a dent. The hunter shoved Evan aside like he was a feather. Astra cried out, "No!" She raised her hand again. The blue light flickered weakly. Too weak. Evan pushed himself off the floor, coughing. He saw Astra standing alone, small, shaking, drained, facing a full-armored killer. A surge of anger shot through him. He ran forward and grabbed the hunter's arm. Trying to pull it away from Astra. The hunter shook him off easily. But it gave Astra one last second, one last spark. Her eyes glowed bright blue. Her energy exploded outward. A final desperate blast. The hunter flew backward and slammed into the metal floor. Sparks burst from his armor. Smoke rose from his joints. Astra collapsed instantly. Evan rushed to catch her, lowering her gently onto the ramp. Astra, hey, stay awake. Her eyes were half open. Her voice was soft and weak. I told you. Using too much power. It drains me. You shouldn't have done that for me, Evan said, his voice shaking. Astra gave him the smallest smile. I would do it again. The other hunters were getting close now. Their heavy boots slammed across the ground, closing the distance with slow, steady confidence. Evan lifted Astra in his arms. We're getting inside that ship. Hold on. He carried her up the ramp and into the ship's dim interior. The lights inside flickered as if recognizing their pilot. The moment they crossed the threshold, the ramp began to rise on its own. Evan laid Astra gently in the co-pilot seat. Her eyes fluttered open. I can't fly right now. I'll do it, Evan said. Astra blinked. You can fly alien ships? I can try, Evan muttered. I fixed hundreds of machines during my work. A cockpit can't be worse. He reached for the controls, but Astra weakly raised her hand and guided him. Press that. Then shift this lever, yes. Her voice was faint but steady. Outside, the hunters had reached the ramp. They slammed their blades against the ship but could not enter. Astra's ship activated its protective barrier, a soft blue shield forming around the hull. Inside, the engines roared to life. The ship shook. Dust lifted off the floor. Astra leaned her head back, trying to stay conscious. Evan, do you know why I searched for you? Evan turned toward her. No, tell me. Astra opened her hand. In her palm was an old, faded candy wrapper, crinkled but carefully kept. "You gave me hope when my world was burning," she whispered. "You gave me the first sweet thing I ever tasted. That moment saved my heart, saved my future." Evan stared at the tiny wrapper in shock. Astra's eyes softened. "All these years, I carried this so I would never forget you. And I promised myself I would find you again, to thank you, to protect you." Evan felt something inside him shift deep, heavy, real. The ship finally lifted into the air. Astra reached for his hand. "And now, we escape together." The underground chamber faded beneath them as the ship shot upward toward the exit tunnel. But the danger was not over. Because high above, waiting like a dark shadow, was the enemy commander. The ship shot upward through the long vertical exit tunnel, its engines shaking the air with deep thunder. Evan held the controls tightly, guiding the ship as best as he could. Astra lay weak beside him, her breath slow, her body trembling from using too much energy. "Stay awake," Evan said softly. "We're almost out." Astra opened her eyes just a little. "I trust you. You always kept me safe." Her words hit Evan's heart hard. He pushed the ship faster. Light flashed above them, the top of the tunnel. They burst out into a giant open docking dome, far beneath the main level of the spaceport. The dome was huge, with wide open air and hundreds of platforms hanging in the dark. The ship soared through the center, but then everything stopped. A sharp beep sounded. A warning screen flashed red, "Incoming threat detected." Evan barely had time to react before a massive shadow dropped from above. A large ship, sleek, black, and shaped like a predator, hovered directly in front of them. And standing on the top deck, under the ship's glowing blue lights, was a tall, armored figure. The enemy commander. Evan felt cold fear run through him. "Astra, he's here." Astra forced herself upright in her seat. Her face was pale, her body shaking, but her eyes burned with sharp recognition. "That is Commander Zirin," she whispered. "He is the one who wants me dead." The black ship blocked all exits. The docking dome doors locked. They were trapped. Commander Zirin's voice echoed through the dome, deep and cold. "Astra, future heir, you cannot run any longer." Astra clenched her teeth. "We're not running." Zirin stepped forward, standing tall and powerful. "No council wants you alive. You are dangerous, unpredictable. Your power threatens everything our side controls." Astra glared at him. "My power will bring peace. That is what scares you." Zirin's helmet slowly turned toward Evan, and this human. "You protect him for no reason." Astra's hands trembled, but she held Zirin's stare. "He is not no reason. He is the reason." Evan looked at Astra, shocked and confused. Zirin laughed, a deep, echoing sound. "You risk the throne for a human who gave you candy as a child. How pathetic." Astra stood up suddenly, using the cockpit wall for support. "He gave me kindness when no one else did. He gave me something simple, but to a scared child, it meant everything." Her voice grew stronger. "I will not allow you to harm him." Zirin raised one hand. A bright red energy beam formed, aimed directly at Evan. Astra gasped. "Stop!" Zirin ignored her. Humans were weak in his eyes. Killing Evan was nothing. The beam shot forward. Astra moved faster than thought. She threw herself in front of Evan. The beam struck her chest. Astra cried out in pain as the energy burned through her armor, sending her crashing to the floor. "Astra!" Evan shouted, dropping to his knees beside her. She was breathing, but barely. Her glowing blue blood sparkled at the edge of her wound. Evan felt helpless, furious, terrified. Zirin's cold voice filled the dome again. "Now you understand. You cannot protect him. You cannot protect yourself. You are unfit to lead." Astra's eyes opened slowly. She looked at Evan, not Zirin. Evan, listen. She whispered, her voice weak but full of emotion. You changed my life. Even when I had nothing. You showed me kindness. You gave me hope. I will not let them take that away. Evan held her hand tightly. Astra, please. Don't speak. Save your strength. Astra shook her head gently. No, I choose now. She pushed herself up slowly, painfully, and stood again, using Evan for balance. Her blue light flickered across her body. Weak but determined, she faced Ziran. Her voice rose, strong and fierce. I am Astra, heir of House Valian. And I choose the human. Her words echoed through the dome like a thunderclap. For a moment, even Ziran froze. From the shadows behind him, dozens of Astra's loyal guards appeared, kneeling one by one. Her declaration had reached them. Her courage inspired them. Her choice changed everything. Ziran stepped back, stunned. You choose a human over power? Over a throne? Astra raised her chin. Power means nothing if I cannot choose my own path. And I choose him. The guards roared in support. Ziran knew he was defeated. Astra's supporters outnumbered him. Her courage made her stronger than even her energy powers. He retreated to his ship, his voice shaking with anger. This is not over, Astra. You will regret this. His ship rose quickly, disappearing into the upper tunnels. Silence filled the dome. Evan turned to Astra, who leaned weakly on him. You saved me, he whispered. Astra smiled gently, her eyes soft. You saved me first. A long time ago. Her legs finally gave out, and she fell into Evan's arms. He held her carefully, carrying her back into the ship. As the ship rose toward the sky, Astra rested her head on his shoulder. Her voice was quiet, warm, and full of peace. Now, Evan, our future starts together. And with the stars opening before them, their story truly began.